out there in Facebook world and podcast land. You're listening to or watching the Service Business Mastery Podcast. I'm your host, Tersh Blissett. Today's episode, we are talking with Michelle LaFrance about Ductless and what it takes to be the Ductless guy. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because she's been on the show before. And we were talking about something a little bit different, but now one thing you'll find out about Michelle is that she has talents in multiple areas, that's for sure. And one of the things that really, the last time we spoke, I didn't even realize it until probably after the conversation, was that she was really, really heavy into the ductless world and in her market and just bringing a lot of people to the forefront when it comes to ductless and as far as the marketing side of things and just helping you become known as the ductless guy. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But if you're not into the air conditioning side of things, you're not into the ductless world, don't worry, don't fret, because we're also going to be talking about SEO and how to really position yourself within your market as well. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So with that being said, welcome to the show, Michelle.
Thank you, Tersh. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so impressed with you and what you do, and always appreciate the opportunity to speak to your listeners. I think you are like a superstar in the HVAC industry, so always glad to be a guest of yours.
I appreciate it. So tell us a little bit about the ductless guy and kind of how you got into that world.
I always love a backstory, and I love to find out how people end up in the HVAC industry, especially a female. Like, how did you end up here? The super short story is the HVAC industry really saved my bacon back in 2008. So I have a digital agency that I've had since after 9/11. I was forced to become an entrepreneur at that point in time. And I've always worked with contractors, but I really had a specialty in the building industry. So I worked within HBAs and the Building Industry Association with home builders and remodelers, right? Helping them do their websites. And everything was going perfectly fine until 2008. And my target audience went goodbye. And it seemed, Tersh, like it was like overnight. Bye-bye. And there goes my audience. And then, right, we all have our story. And I was wondering how to save my own company. Like, how am I going to get through this? And while I was working in the Building Industry Association, there was one HVAC contractor that hired me. And he reached out to me in 2008. And he is the ultimate ductless guy because he had a vision back in 2008. And he was trying to keep his company afloat, big sheet metal house, parts, inventory, salespeople, the whole 9 yards. And he had called me up and just said, Michelle, I'm not able to stay afloat. I mean, I need to make X amount of money just to break even, and that's not happening. And I was wondering if you could help me be number one in the search results for a ductless heat pump. And I said, yes, I can. And then a long silence when I said, what's a ductless heat pump, right?
Right.
What are you talking about? And so I'm really thankful for you even asking that question, because I was able to save his company because I got him ranking for the ductless heat pump when no other contractor, it was not even on their radar. And he ended up doing some insane amount, like 364 units in his first year. So it saved his company and it saved my company because I started being known as the ductless gal. So the contractor in Portland said, hey, can you make me the ductless guy? And I said, yes, I can. So I've been at this for going on 13 years. So I have a great deal of knowledge that I'm excited to share.
Awesome. Awesome. So why would we want to be the ductless guy or the ductless gal?
Yeah, I love this question too. One of the things that I noticed about the HVAC industry once I started working more with contractors is you guys have one of the toughest businesses to run, and you do it on low margin, right? And so you have to go out there and do the marketing. It's a very competitive space. You have to get the sale, close the sale. You have to have technicians. You have to have dispatchers. You have to have all these moving parts. And for the most part, for many contractors, it's pretty low margin. So why the ductless guy? Why ductless is so important is for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's an exciting thing that's happening in your industry, and your industry is not filled with exciting events, right? So the ductless heat pump is new and different, right? And the number one reason that I like it is it's a growing segment in the HVAC industry. But the big reason that I like it is this these are the happiest clients, right? So they have the highest level of satisfaction. You went in and did an installation. They're happy because you saved them money. Some are saving 50% on their utility bills. They're happy because if they replace something like baseboard heating, they can put the furniture wherever they want. They're sleeping better. They're breathing better air. Everybody's at home, so now they're converting attics and basements and garages into offices and living space, and they're just so happy. And so I like to say, in terms of a niche, this is a really good one for those reasons. It's like pushing the happy button, and happy people do some things. They give you rave reviews. They refer other people to you, right? And so if you want to be the ductless guy, you get your first sale, your ductless thing, and then it's like, it's on-site and off-site, right? On-site is part of what I help people with in terms of getting the lead. But once you get the lead, it's like a ripple effect, right? You get that happy customer and they're crazy happy, right? And they start talking to their friends and you start working that referral, right? And so it's the wheels start rolling and you can make a really good living. You can make a lot of money and make a lot of friends selling ductless.
I like that. So with that being said, do you have you had any kind of experience with, what's the best way to say it? Like, people they see online that this cheap ductless system is like, I don't know, $500 or maybe $1,000. And then we know that when we get into the home, we can't possibly install a high quality ductless system for $1,500. And so then when we give them a price of $5,000 or $6,000, then kind of there's a shell shock kind of going on. Have you seen that or experienced that, or how would you combat that?
Yes, of course. So I think every industry has that. I have that in my industry as a web company. There's all kinds of people that do cheap crap websites, right? And they do absolutely nothing for you. So I'm totally familiar with it. Well, one of the things that I do, and one of the reasons that I created the Ductless Directory, is because this has been my target audience. I see the problems that HVAC contractors have, right? Your business is being encroached upon by the Home Depots, the online wholesalers, and the people that think that they can do it themselves. And so let me just backtrack. Not anybody can get into the Ductless Directory. So my team, we vet everybody that comes in. So this is a quality play. So I didn't create a directory just to populate it with every contractor out there. I vet them. All right. So once you get into the Ductless Directory, you're going to see that I advocate for you. So on the surface, the Ductless Directory is really a consumer resource that happens to have incredible SEO power for the contractor, but I educate the consumer. So I start talking to them in my resource section. I put, how do you hire a contractor? And the first thing that I put there is consumers want to know which brand. That's where they go. Is Mitsubishi better than Daikin? Is Daikin better than Fujitsu? Is this brand better than that brand? And what I do is I educate the customer on your behalf. So I go, it doesn't, not that the brand doesn't matter, but I say the number one most important step on your ductless journey is to hire the right contractor.
Absolutely.
They're going to know how to properly match the system. They're going to know where the proper placement is. They're going to come equipped with the proper tools. You will avoid your warranty. And guess what? You're not going to save the money that you think that you're going to save, because so much can go wrong. So I also have a blog section, and recently, and I feel like I bring a fresh and unique voice to the industry. So the industry as a whole kind of has a vanilla approach to marketing. And so I did a blog post called DDIY. And it was like, should you do it yourself? And I go, no, DDIY is don't do it yourself. It's just not going to be worth it. So I really advocate, right? You're not going to save the money you think you're going to save. You're probably going to get really frustrated, right? All these things. And then one contractor told me that there's a part in there that you could actually get electrocuted. So, we can throw that out there too. I don't know.
Well,
if that's
and it
true
looks
or not,
like
but,
garbage half the time too.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. So I really advocate, for the contractor, and I blog, and contractors can get featured in my blogs, and they can use that. I put a share button on the blog so they can push it out in their social media. Hey, don't do it yourself. Like, which brand is important? No, get the contractor, like, get somebody with knowledge and experience. That's your first step. So I think my messaging really is supportive, and I advocate for the qualified contractor.
So who can be the ductless guy?
I love this. I have so many David and Goliath stories. I just love this because who is the ductless guy? You know, sometimes contractors think that it has to be the biggest contractor in the territory or the contractor with the most vans and trucks. And it really is the contractor that decides and is willing to take action. So I like to say that there's a lot of contractors that are waving the ductless flag. Maybe they put one page of content on their website, but the ductless guy, who's ever the guy that plants the flag. And so there are certain things that Google is looking for in terms of who ranks where. And as an SEO company with almost 19 years experience, we know what that is. So I built the Ductless directory from the ground up to be an SEO factor, right? And so it can be any contractor, and many of my contractors are smaller contractors. They're owners, and maybe they've got one, maybe it's themselves and one other guy. They just decide, I want to be the ductless guy. And one of my contractors told me, he said, you know, Michelle, what you do is so powerful, but you're like the best kept secret in the industry. And I said, I know. So when you want to be the ductless guy, you have to do something different, right? And I'll tell you a little bit more about why what I do is so powerful, but it's just really the guy that decides. And then you have to have a better plan than your competitor. And so one of the things that I'm going to offer to your listeners is they can get a free consultation with me. And I had my tech last night put up a website called The Ductless Guy. It's really, really basic, but I wanted to provide an avenue where people are like, hey, I want to know more. And they can schedule an appointment with me, and I've got a toll-free number that they can call. But it's really important to play a smarter game. And your industry is filled. And I think the reason that people get so frustrated with SEO is what I see happening in the industry is somebody builds a website, and then your competitor builds a bigger website, and then you build a bigger website and a bigger and a bigger and a bigger. And it's always a quality game. Quality will trump quantity every day of the week.
Right.
So I got a secret weapon.
I love that. That's awesome. And I've been honored to have stuff there too. And so it's really been cool to just watch that progress and kind of deep dive into that, everything, you know, pertaining to the ductless realm of things. And in our market, there's ductless, but there's not a ton of ductless, but then there's very few people who rank for ductless because whether nobody wanted to own it, or maybe the market share just didn't really know what to look for when it came to that. But I'm excited that we do rank well for ductless now.
Good.
Tell me a little bit about kind of the SEO kind of things, as far as if you're outside the HVAC industry, if you're outside of ductless and stuff like that. Let's kind of deep dive as far as positioning yourself within your specific industry.
Yeah. It's such a big conversation, right?
Yeah.
SEO. And yeah, you know, for the HVAC people listening, you know, I just want to acknowledge that companies in my industry heavily target companies in the HVAC industry. And it gets really, really hard to have discernment, right? Because there are some quality digital agencies that specialize in HVAC. So if you're a contractor and you're happy with your agency, keep them, love them, really nurture that relationship. Because what's more common is there's opportunists, right? And I just get these calls constantly. One guy from the East Coast, you know, and he doesn't have a big budget, but it's still a budget, right? I think he's spending like $1,300 or $1,400 a month. Mm-hmm. And he has this it's a skeleton of a website. So part of what happens for the opportunists that want to focus on HVAC or the plumbing industry, that's right there, right side by side with HVAC, heavily targeted. And there's these companies that put these, we call them thin or skinny sites, where there's a lot of graphics and there's very little content. And we even see some sites where it's all but a skeleton. Like this one website, the entire website maybe had, it was 988 words across the entire website. It was just picture. And it doesn't, And so I was saying to the guy, I go, oh my God, this is like a skeleton. There's just like a little verbiage on each page. So there's a lot to sift through. And so you just really have to have discernment. The biggest thing that I want to say about SEO is it really comes down to hiring somebody that understands the big picture and has a strategy, right? And so what is the strategy? If we're always just building a bigger website, then you're stuck in that rut. My competitor built a bigger website. No, I got to add more web pages, and then it's just, it's dumb,
Yep.
right? So you have to play a smarter game, right? And so one of the things that I think is confusing is there is on-site SEO, what you can do on your website, and that's important. And there's off-site. And this is what I really want to focus on today, because the off-site is really where the juice is.
What is that now?
Can I talk to you about? Oh yeah, okay. So on-site is like your verbiage and what the content and the tuning of the site. And then off-site, Google really wants to see if all that they see is you and your website and your 1,000-page website or your 500-page website, and it's you talking about you and how great you are as a contractor, that's not going to do so well in Google's eyes. So you have to know how Google is evaluating the website. They want to see off-site. Where else on the internet is somebody referring to your website so that they can go, oh, not only do you think you're great, but I found this reference point for you over here, and I found this reference point over there, and I found this reference point over there. And then those are called backlinks.
Yep.
All right. And what Google does is they evaluate the quality of these backlinks to your website. So one of the tricks that SEO companies do is they go out and they buy a bunch of backlinks. But if they're irrelevant to plumbing or HVAC or whatever you have to do, it's just garbage, right? And so Google's going to look at the quality of the backlink. So the reason I created the Ductless directory is it is a quality product. And then I want to introduce you to this term called an authority site. So I created this Ductless directory. It's all about ductless heat pumps. It's quality content. I've got a YouTube channel with quality videos, and we built it to rank. And it has come to the point of being an authority site. So here again, where quality is more important than quantity. One backlink from a high authority website is better than 1,000 mediocre backlinks.
Oh, nice.
So people and contractors, it is, right? And so that's the thing, is you want to go get the powerful backlink. And so that's what the Ductless directory is. Now, once you get into the directory, and thank you for this question, everything that I do for the most part is off-site. So once you get into the directory, you get that first backlink. Now you get into a blog and you get featured in the blog. Oh, then I do press rooms and I do press releases. So if you have a web company that you like, keep them. I don't have to talk to them. I don't have to log into their website. I don't have to do anything. It's simple math. Keep your website functioning in peak performance, just like your furnace or anything else. Get your website operating at peak performance, and then add the Ductless directory, because I'm going to start multiplying the ways that people find you online.
Nice. I like that.
Can
So go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
Good.
No, you go.
Well, I just like the fact that it is something that can be added on to what we have currently. That it's really convenient. And so like with us, we use your services, and I love the SEO company that we have. I mean, Jake and Russell, they're great guys, and they've been on the show before, and they really work with me a lot and help me out, and pick up the phone call as soon as I call it, like much like you do as well. But it's very much so. Whenever I first told you that, and then you explained to me, like, look, we just piggyback on the back of them and do these backlinks and guest articles and stuff like that. I was like, all right, cool, let's do that then. And I thought that was really convenient and really helpful for us.
Yeah, it is. And I play well with other people, right? So right, it's important. And any good SEO company will say, yeah, you can get a good quality backlink and you can get all these references. Yeah, go do it. And so I like to, I've thought hard over the years about how can I communicate this in simple terms. And so I recently came up with this. So I'm going to float it past you and your audience, and you can tell me if it makes sense. But it's kind of like, if you want to be healthy, you can go about your day and eat a good breakfast and salad for lunch and the greens, the protein, and this, that, and the other, and hope that you get all the nutrition, the vitamins and the minerals that you need to be healthy.
Right.
Or you could do all of that and take your multivitamin.
Yep.
And that's really what the Ductless Directory is like. And so I like to say you need your vitamin B, and the vitamin B is the backlink. And so the analogy that I want to, isn't it?
Yeah.
It simplifies it. I like taking complicated things and simplifying them. So before I came here today, I said, well, I better go look up what vitamin B does. Vitamin B gives you a boost in energy. It elevates you. And it also is an immune booster so that when viruses come around, you are prepared to handle it. And so when we talk about a backlink, and I can read a couple third-party references here in a second, but that's exactly what these high-quality backlinks do. They boost you. And so I've had contractors go from not being on the map to being on the map. Just by participating in the directory. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. Okay. I have contractors gone from being mid to low on the first page to elevating their status. And that's what the Ductless Directory does. So it boosts you in the rankings. Mm-hmm. It elevates you in the sense that we're all working with that perception online. And so I had a contractor from Indianapolis, Ben Melvin. He is like the ultimate ductless guy. He's got a home performance background, but he's in the Ductless Directory, and he calls me every time he gets a lead. So, and I love these stories. So he'll call me up and he's like, you're not going to believe it. I just got a call from this lady, and she went online and she was searching this and she was searching that. She was being really diligent, and she kept finding my company here, there, and everywhere. And then she found the Ductless Directory, and she said, I assumed that you must be the company to go to because I found this third-party resource and you're in there. And so she picked up the phone and he closed a multi-head ductless system, right? So it elevates you in terms of perception. And then there will be other contractors gunning for you. So it's like that immune booster. Like if my contractor is in the Ductless Directory and the competitive contractor isn't, I'm going to trump them every day of the week. So I like to think of it as the vitamin B that elevates, boosts, and protects you, because Google is always evaluating you and how you stack up to your competition.
Oh, yeah. I love it. That's awesome. So with that being said, we're wrapping up on time here, but what else, what did I forget to ask? Is there anything that I missed here? Because we kind of rolled through a lot of stuff here.
Well, we did, and it's a big topic, so I'm going to respect the timing. I have an offer for your listeners, but I also want to offer your listeners an opportunity to connect with me. So they can go to theductlessguy.com. It's a simple page. My tech whipped it up last night just for your listeners, and they can schedule an appointment with me. And part of what I can do is I can just look at their territory and analyze it and see what it's going to take, right? And so we can do that. And then I also have a number. I'm going to give you a toll-free number for the Ductless Directory. It's 833-568-9474. And that comes directly to me. And so you can also call and chat with me. But what I want to do is I just want to encourage people to get that vitamin B, which is the backlink. And so can I read this real quick?
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
Is not even coming from me. This comes from Search Engine Journal. And it said, backlinks are the backbone of your website. The stronger they are, the better the position of your website. So it's super, super important. And then there's this other reference that comes from Web 2.0 Ranker. And it says, increase your Google Map listings, more backlinks to your website. The more quality links that you have to your website, the higher the GMB, your Google My Business listing tends to rank. So I'm going to talk to you about the minimum daily dosage. Yeah. So the Ductless Directory is a membership site. A lot of my peers said you should sell the leads. I'm really not interested in selling and tracking leads. I really wanted to create a quality thing that contractors could participate in. And so I have 5 levels of membership, but I'm going to tell you the basic and the high end, and then you can call to talk more. But the basic listing is a basic listing. It has your name, your address, your phone number. It gives you that citation and a backlink. It is your minimum daily dosage. I don't care if you're a big or a small contractor, get this, because it tells Google that you're associated with this authority site.
Mhm.
And that's normally $27 a month. And then if a contractor wants to pay in advance, they get 2 months free. So it's $270 for the year.
Okay.
However, your listeners can take advantage of this insane special that I'm offering. It's 60% off.
Oh,
So they would get that backlink, that basic listing for $99 for the year. And
sweet.
they'll do that by going to Ductless, isn't it? Oh, so good. Well, I'm doing it because AC season is coming up. So if you're serious about being the ductless guy, you're going to set the stage to be ready for the AC season. It's the #1 search term. So it's showtime, right?
Mhm.
So they'll go to ductlessdirectory.com/special. And then that's where they can sign up, and just $99 for a full year. That's the basic listing. The high performance listing is the high-end listing that is $397 per month. The same thing holds true. If you sign up for a year, you get 2 months free. So it's $3,970 for the year. The return on investment is huge. First of all, I don't care what manufacturer you have, whatever manufacturer you have, I'm going to create one. It includes the video marketing, right? And it doesn't matter what brand you have. But here's what you get. You get a full page on the Ductless directory. So now that full page is another asset that somebody can find when they do the search. So your website is ranking, then you get this full page, right? I just doubled your visibility online. And guess what? We pushed one of your competitors off the first page. So it is a battlefield online. I compete to win, right?
Yeah.
I like to have my contract win. So they get a landing page and they get 3 of our world-class, I just think they're beautiful videos. And what happens if you're a contractor and you're like, I want to get fast results, you're going to do this, because one of our videos, we are so proficient and my SEO team is so good. Just one of our videos usually pops to the top of the search result within 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
So now what have we, if you're already ranking your website, this is the high math, then you get a landing page on the Ductless directory that ranks. You get 1 video, 2 videos, 3 videos. And eventually in the search, Google will present the Google carousel, which is 3 videos for your company. Now we just push the competitors further and further down the page, right? And the other thing that we did is we're securing your online footprint, right? So in the eyes of Google, they go, this must be the Ductless guy.
Mm-hmm.
Look at them. They got a website. They're on this directory. They've got these videos, right? Then I can feature you. I can do more, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's the base listing and the high performance listing. And then there's options in between that make it affordable for really any contractor. And so I want to offer your guys that special of $99. In the next 30 days, I'm going to give a giveaway. So I'm going to be tracking who comes in from this. And what one person will get is they're going to get a copy of the book, Why They Buy. And so we know that in order to be the Ductless guy, you have to get the lead, you have to close the lead, right?
Mhm.
I am a trainer for a company called Bank Code. It's personality training, so you can understand the right message to deliver to the right consumer so you can close that sale. So at the end of the period, someone's going to get a full hour consultation with me, a copy of Why They Buy, and I can talk to them about how they can start closing more sales. And then can we put a challenge out there? Because, you know, I like to do something nice for you because I always appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So if you have 100 of your listeners that want to get in and just for that $99 special, we're going to run it all month in April. Then I would love to create a custom video for you and your company that will get it on our YouTube channel. It will rank, but then you can download it and you can put it on your website and you can put it on your Facebook. There's video is such a flexible thing. So 100 of you, if you love Tersh, you're going to sign up.
Well, let's do it. Everybody sign up. I'm trying to get me a video.
And then you're going to get a high quality, super nice quality video. Hey, and by the way, when we take a look at the cost factor, the manufacturers love our videos and they love our what we do with our messaging. And so for most contractors, it's a co-op accrual or it's funded. Right. So you can take that invoice and submit it to whoever your manufacturer is. I'm going to give you results. So it really becomes a no-brainer. So,
sweet. Yep. That's a win-win for sure.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah,
Michelle.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today's show and answering all the questions that I have. And if anybody's listening to or watching this, first off, sign up so that I can get me a video too. But then also, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Michelle. She answers questions day and night. She's super fast at answering and responding to questions, and connect with her. Or you can ask me, but most likely I'm just going to forward you over to Michelle. But with that being said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Make sure we're connected via Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And TikTok too. But with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful and a safe week. And until next time, just keep hustling and sign up for at least a basic listing. Thank you again, Michelle, for coming on today's show.
Oh my gosh, I so appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
It's my pleasure. And thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Service Business Mastery Podcast. It is a podcast focused on service business owners, managers, and technicians who are considering becoming business owners themselves. Until we talk again next week, be safe and see you later.